You read the thumbnail correctly. This bathroom remodel took me almost exactly 9 months to the day. I put my hammer through the closet wall on July 27th of last year, and today is April 28th, and I just finished up the bathroom last week. I'm going to get into why it took me so long at the end of the video, but for now I think it's a good time to go back and reflect and look over what it took to get us here. So now that you watched all that, it may be self-explanatory. I'd say there was quite a bit more involved in this remodel than a lot of bathrooms. So first things first, let's talk about how nearly the entire slab in this bathroom had to be replaced. You saw in that clip, the slab dropped 3 inches from this side to this side. That is due to poor grading and drainage around the property. This side of the house has a hill that slopes directly into it, so water has been for years. This house is about 80 years old. Water has always been hitting the house and running underneath it, and it has washed away the dirt on this side of the room and created major settling issues throughout the house. I originally wanted to just try to do self-leveler. Once I had the old tile that was in here up, I knew that there was no saving that slab. So then once I made the decision to cut out the slab, I noticed the stem wall, the foundation wall on this exterior wall, also trashed. You can see in that one clip where I've got the section of footer on my tailgate, the footer that they poured for this exterior wall was only 3 inches into the soil deep and 8 inches wide. It was very insufficient. So I lifted that entire wall with a car jack, sledgehammered everything out, excavated on the outside with my Harbor Freight backhoe, formed up, poured a new concrete footer and stem wall. Super ugly. I'm not good. That was my first time ever doing any type of concrete work. Not that happy with how it turned out, but it's going to be functional. The next major problem we ran into that added a lot of time to the progress was the city requiring me to use a licensed plumber for any of the drains that are buried underground and tied into the city sewer. It took me a long time to find a plumber that was out here that was willing to come out here and do the work. And then it took me a long time to get my inspection scheduled with the city inspector before I could proceed. I killed weeks. I think I may have actually killed a couple of months looking for a plumber, scheduling a day to meet them here, then scheduling a day for them to install, and then scheduling a day for the inspector to meet me out here while working a full-time job in what has been the busiest period of my career so far. I've been on 6-day weeks for months now, so a very large portion of that 9 months that I've been working on this bathroom has been 1 day a week and then nights after work that I'm available to make progress in here. And then what I believe was probably the last unforeseen that I ran into, and I don't know how I made it so long without noticing, but you see that clip. Some of you may have been confused at what you were watching, but when I'm in here with the car jack and all the 2x4s on this wall right here that runs behind the toilet and along the tub, somehow I made it all the way to the point of having rough-in plumbing in, slab, having the tub installed before I noticed that that wall was leaning away from the bathroom 4 inches from bottom to top. It's another part of the settling problems of the house. So you can see what I did. I lifted the weight of the roof. That is a load-bearing wall. I lifted the weight of the roof off of the studs by the bottom of the top plate with the car jack, 2 2x4s, and then scotched 2 to the slab to hold that weight while I lifted all of the studs with the 2x4 that I screwed across perpendicular to all of them. I made that support to span over the tub since I already had the tub installed so that I could lift those last 2 studs. I lifted the wall to relieve all of the weight off of the footer that wall sits on. It's just sitting on a pile of rocks, old house. And then I used my car jack again to push the studs one at a time that way and then anchored them to the floor joist. This house is a hybrid slab crawl space. So I pushed it over and then used the floor joists to hold the bottom that way. I was only able to move it 2 inches, so I was still 2 inches out of plumb at that point. You can see in the next clip, I used fur out strips. I cut them out of square. I shot a laser up every stud, and I ripped out of square pieces of 2x4 and screwed them to that side of the studs to create a level wall in here. And it is perfectly laser level now. So as long as I can correct my grading issue outside to where the house does not experience any more significant settling, I've got that problem fixed now. And besides those unforeseens that added a lot of time and issue to the project, it really all boils down to just no free time outside of work, trying to still live my social life. I'm only 26, so I still hang out with my friends pretty regularly. And the last big major detail is the majority of this stuff it was my first time doing. I've never done plumbing, I've never done concrete work, never done sheetrock work, I've never done tile, never installed a tub, never installed a toilet, never hung interior doors, never done any trim. Really the only part of it that I was familiar with was hanging the shower doors and building and hanging that mirror, because that's what my profession is. Overall, I'm very, very happy with how everything turned out. It's not nearly as crappy in here as I thought it was going to be. I honestly expected it to feel very DIY'd, but another reason why everything took so long is I took a ton of time to research every single topic before I started into it, and then throughout the process I was researching, overcoming obstacles. This is the biggest project I've ever taken on myself. I've never done anything to this scale before. So I'm very happy with how it turned out. I'm not that happy about how long it took. When I started this, I gave myself 2 months, and it took 9. But I got through it. I learned so much, and I feel a lot more confident and capable going into the remainder of the project. So if you're not familiar, I bought this 80-something-year-old house March of last year with the intention of going through the entire thing and renovating it, 1 room at a time. If you're interested in following along, I suggest that you do so. I've got over 100 videos out already of the processes of individual portions of the bathroom and the other projects I've worked on around the property. And I've definitely got years of content coming on fixing up the remainder of this house. So if you're interested, I suggest you stick around. If you're one of the originals, I thank you guys so much for the support. Truly helped me so much push through this and make it to the end. And there's not a whole lot more to say than that. Thank you guys for watching.